pissed off every police officer with disgusting new rule they made overnight. For years, Dunkin' Donuts has been synonymous with police officers, which the company probably benefited a great deal from. Cops frequent the chain for their early morning or late-night fix while on the job. However, that's about to come to a screeching halt after what's now happening in their shops. Among the busiest Dunkin' Donuts locations are those in New York City, which caters to the hard-working officers in the night. The city's finest have their work cut out for them in a massive metropolitan place like Manhattan that's also under added pressure of a possible second terrorist attack. It's challenging enough to do this often thankless job, but the New York City's mayor makes it worse with his pathetic disrespect for the men and women in blue. It doesn't matter to Mayor Bill de Blasio that he relies on these heroes to keep him safe too, since when it comes to anything for them, he usually does just the opposite. Evidently, this disgusting attitude has worn off on the people who serve the night their coffee with what they're now refusing to do. The head of the Night Detectives Unit is now rightfully leading a boycott against the chain after the inexcusable thing that two cops found when they showed up to a New York location to get a cup of coffee. The officers were denied service by an anti-cop employee working at the establishment. Although this isn't the first time this refusal to serve has happened, it will probably be the last, considering what happened soon after the incident. The New York Post reports. Detectives Endowment Association President Michael Palladino said Thursday that the blatant discrimination was disgraceful and it should not go unattended. "I assume it is an isolated incident. Nevertheless, Dunkin' Donuts corporate should issue an apology to the night, and until that happens, I have asked detectives and their families to refrain from patronizing the stores," he said. Palladino also took a thinly veiled swipe at Mayor Bill de Blasio and other city officials in apportioning blame for the Sunday afternoon incident at 1993 Atlantic Avenue. Political leaders in this city have encouraged this type of behavior by constantly demonizing cops and pushing their decriminalization agenda, he said. It's time for the same politicians to step up, take some responsibility and condemn what occurred. Law enforcement sources briefed on what happened told the Post that the two cops, who are plainclothes patrol officers assigned to the 73rd Precinct's detective squad, entered the store shortly after noon to purchase some Baskin-Robbins. After waiting in line behind a customer, the cops, who were wearing suit pants, shirts and ties, with their badges and pistols on their belts, approached the counter but were ignored by a clerk who instead asked a man standing behind them what he wanted, sources said. The man gave the clerk his order, sources said, then added, "These two guys were in front of me." "Yeah, I know, but I don't serve cops," the clerk replied. The manager was given the opportunity to make the incident better or worse when questioned about the incident, and opted for the latter by basically calling the cops liars. Disputing the officer's claim, the manager said this confusion happened because the cops, who the employee allegedly didn't know were cops, were waiting to order in the wrong area. Given what the employee said to the officers, it was clear they were in the right place and he knew they were cops, since he asked to take the order of the customer behind them, before saying it's because they were cops that he wouldn't serve them. These two men in shirts and ties, who I later found out were police, must have never come to this Dunkin' Donuts before, because instead of waiting in the line where you order, they waited at the counter where you pick up your order, the manager explained as his excuse for what happened. He also refused to give his name to the Post. "You can see on the security tape, they stand here for 5 minutes, while other customers were being served. One customer even ordered ice cream, and they must have not liked that because they left the store," he added. The problem is, he wouldn't provide the tape as evidence of proof to the Post, further making himself look like a liar. If you're going to man enough to deny a cop service and/or defend the person who does by excusing their actions, then at least don't be a coward and hide your face and name behind your tough guy words. Own it and deal with what comes from it, but don't expect a cop to save you when you need it. While a boycott of this location is justified, what would be better is for cops to blacklist this location and show the employee what life without police officers is like in the case of an emergency.